Hi, I'm Venkat. I'm a social entrepreneur and I'm out of Chennai.
And Venkat, do you vote? And if you do, your take, and if you do not vote, also your take.
Uh, I vote. I have never missed a single election. I make it a point in the last 3 years where after every vote of mine, I vote, I take a photograph and I share it on Facebook. But I vote knowing fully well that this is a flawed system in which I am voting. And I make this my way of showing my side where I say, look, I voted, this system is fucking flawed, and that's why I voted, and I let people know because that gives me a chance for me to talk about why essentially the kind of democratic system that we are following is flawed. Now, this is not a commie drivel. I'm not a commie. I'm a hardcore right wing, except that I don't believe in stuff like God and religion. But the fact is that the reason why I say it's a flawed system is not my original idea. It was established by a gentleman called Kenneth Arrow, who actually got a Nobel Prize for economics in his work in social choice theory. Now, there's something called the Arrow's impossibility theorem, which in social choice, and I'm going to use Wikipedia for that so that people think that Wikipedia is the worst sort of reference, but I think it's the best because it's used a crowdsource. Of course, one way of really verifying if the shit you do in Wikipedia is correct or not is to just walk down, look at the reference where these have to be essentially quoted reference, so that's how you check, right? So now, according to Arrow's impossibility theorem, I'm going to read the Arrow's impossibility theorem. It says.
Wait a sec. You're going to read the
Arrow's impossibility theorem. In social choice, Arrow's impossibility theorem, or the general possibility theorem, or Arrow's paradox, states that when voters have 3 or more distinct alternatives, which means options, no rank order voting system can convert the rank preference of individuals into a community-wide, which is essentially complete and transitive ranking, while also meeting a specific set of criteria. These criteria are called unrestricted domain, non-dictatorship, Pareto efficiency, and independence of irrelevant alternatives. The theorem is often cited in discussions of election theory, as it's further interpreted by Gibbard and Satterwhite theorem. You should go and check it out. So this is not some guy who's like out of his mind doing this. This is, it says why the need to, so the statement is the need to aggregate preferences occurs in many different disciplines. In welfare economics, where one attempt to find an economic outcome which would be acceptable and stable. In decision theory, where a person has to make a rational choice based on several criteria, and most naturally in voting system, which are mechanisms for extracting a decision from a multitude of voters' preference. So it's a pain for other guys who will not be math or geek guys for me to go through. Guys who are into, please go check it out. Arrow's impossibility theorem, Kenneth Arrow. It was a part of his PhD thesis. Kenneth is right now in New York. It's not about the process of election or the execution of election. I'm not getting into this whole the other side. That is the criminal aspect of that is something different. If there's somebody who's violating something into a criminal act, he has to face the law of the land. All I'm saying is that mathematically it is impossible for you to have an accurate guide of a collective representation of users' options in a objective way, and that's essentially what the Kenneth Arrow's theorem and the Arrow's impossibility paradox states. And so I do not know the answer. I do not know the solution. I just know that something is wrong, and that's what everybody knows, and that's reflected by the anger which you see in people, because there are these small island countries which got independence much later, but where people are happy and stuff like that. And it's been a long time here, and shit hasn't changed, right? There's corruption, there is crony capitalism, it really, there is the power of capitalism is in the power of giving it away, right? And here you're seeing the opposite. You're seeing people hoarding, right? And that's not what this was meant to be, right? So we need to figure out. There are a lot of smart people, smart economists who figure this out are there right now, heading government and the opposition parties, and probably that's the unfair advantage which they had at the first place to be where they are. And but the point I'm trying to make is, you need to think. This is not a stupid bunch of people who are they know something is they're like, what do I call that, anti-establishment, the 60s kind of US hippie movement. No, it's not that alone.
Do you think cannabis should be legalized?
So medical marijuana is legal in California, in the state of California in United States. In Europe, there are countries. I had the good fortune to do and have an opportunity and interact there. It's not like your crime rate is related to your drug sale. That had got nothing to do with it. But the pseudo British morality which was induced on us, right? I mean, it's probably whatever reason, part of social control or whatever, doesn't make sense in this context. To answer your question, I mean, it's a no-brainer, right? If there are going to be people who are going to be benefiting out of it medically, whatever, spiritually, or whatever you might call it, it doesn't make sense, because actually you're not stopping it. You're ensuring that a black market for it thrives, and alternative source of a parallel economy starts emerging, cash flow around it, the vested interest groups which come around it, Amsterdam's biggest revenue is from their entertainment tax and tax which they cover at the coffee bars in downtown area. Then of course the next question would be, should then sex be legalized, right? The point I'm trying to make is, if you don't let something happen which, because of its entropy, is happening anyway, people will figure out a way to continue that will happen, and that's the reason why you have fallout like crime and cartels and mafias and things like that. So that's my take on
so you
legalize it. If that's, I should write a t-shirt with, it says that, which will have that grass thing on there, and you say legalize it, right? So does it reduce hypertension? Any idea? No?
Of course.
Okay, so I have like Amlovas 80, and I don't know, probably you're eating it into some big medical pharmaceutical guy's market share, and that guy is kicking your butt. That's why he's keeping it illegal.